What's going on, everybody? Chase with iDub Hockey, joined today with Dan Rich, Product Development Manager for Sherwood Hockey, hanging out in Calgary, checking out your Playwright line. So before we start talking about some of the youth-specific technologies and designs here, what type of player did you build this for?
Well, look, the Playwright family has traditionally always catered to that entry level to developing player. It's only about player development. That's everything that Playwright stands for. So it's important for us to be able to allow the young player, even the hockey parent, to find the appropriate product for this player. So the technology that we put into this, you would think as an entry-level junior stick and youth stick, there's not much to it, but there is quite a bit of technology that we've put in here specifically to help that player develop.
So unlike the days that I'm sure when we grew up, we've kind of got an older player stick that's been cut down, probably flex rating of 200. What is the difference between just taking a senior stick, cutting it down to these heights to what we find and the players will feel when using the Playwright?
Okay, first thing, let's be very clear, I grew up long before you did. But to be honest, taking a senior stick and cutting it does no service to the young player whatsoever. You change the balance point, the flex becomes unmanageable, the blade is blade heavy. There's a lot of things that'll actually deter or limit that player development by actually cutting a senior stick. Not to mention the biggest one being hand size and grip strength and going to a shaft that's not proportionate for that young player's hand. So making sure that you've got the appropriate shaft size, flex, curve, and weight and balance are very, very key. So please, parents at home, don't cut senior sticks for young developing players. Get them the appropriate shaft for them.
So we talked about that already, how these are age-specific shaft dimensions, but there's a lot of age-specific features that we see from the flex profile to the blade construction. Let's continue with the shaft, work our way down, and just again, tell me why this is going to be so much more enjoyable, so much more conducive to developing for those young players.
So this is really, really simple for the Playwright family. In the youth sizing, you're going to a much more rectangular shape in the shaft. A little bit longer sidewall and thinner spines to allow that player to have a surface area to load, to be able to find the different angles of that shaft. As you go towards the junior lengths, then you're getting towards a little bit more of a traditional dimension of spine and sidewall so that they can start developing those stick handling abilities and skills. That's first and foremost in the varying shaft shape between the youth and the junior models. Then obviously flex is a key. And we have an amazing chart that's available online for the parent to choose the appropriate flex for their player based on height, based on weight, not one size fits all. And then the final piece would be the modified PP28 blade, which has a toe curve to it. It's a weight proportionate blade for the youth and the junior lengths. And it allows a little bit better control for that player's, what we call the sphere of control, so that they actually can keep that puck actually tighter to their body and actually be able to reach out and pull it back in. And that toe curve promotes that for them.
So just to summarize here, this Playwright line doesn't just make shopping easier for the parents to find the exact right stick for the child, but that child is just going to have so much better of an experience learning the greatest game on earth, whether it's from a feel perspective to a shooting and stick handling. Am I hitting that pretty well?
You're absolutely right. This is the stepping stone. We want players to come to Sherwood, develop their skills, move on to our code and our Wrecker families. But this is where they start. This is where they develop their skills with the appropriate aged and performance level product, and then move up from there.
And then if you had to pick one family, say this child grows through all four flex points here, and they're looking for their first real stick, which family would you likely point them towards based off of just overall flex profile?
We're very fortunate in having two specific families in that low kick with Wrecker and that hybrid kick. Again, it really depends on where that player's skill set is aiming towards, but skating being such an important part of the game, our code family is great for a playmaker and yet still has great shooting capabilities. if a young player really prides themselves in having a wicked shot and really likes to score goals, then they can look towards the Record family. But in youth and junior offerings in those two families, we've got everything you need in technology above and beyond this. So this is the stepping stone. Develop your skills and then move into the bigs.
Well, Dan, as always, thank you so much for having us out here and walking us through your youth Playwright line.
Thank you so much for your continued support of Sherwood Hockey.
Likewise. And for you at home that want to check out more of these sticks from Sherwood, make sure you head over to icewarehouse.com.